Hi guys, and welcome to episode 5 of our 7,000 gold before TBC Classic launches challenge. Now, just before we begin, I would like to apologise if you can hear any of the adverse weather conditions that are occurring where I live right now. I am going to edit this audio and hopefully be able to remove any of the noise that occurs. But if there is a particularly large gust of wind or heavy rain for a moment, I do apologise. I've done my best to get rid of that for you. But enough of that, let's dive into what we've done in terms of making our gold since the last time we spoke. So, the first thing that we did was, when we woke up the next day after making our previous episode, we realised that we'd had a lot of sales of our small radiant shards and it was time to do a restock. So we headed over to Razorfen and we did just that. Now, during these runs, we actually got a BOE blue shield as well that we were going to be selling, which we'll see towards the end of the video, which is just adding a little bit of value, but realistically not an awful lot outside of what you'd expect running this dungeon. It's one of the more consistent things that we do, which does unfortunately mean there's not a great deal for us to talk about, so let's move on to our next bit. Now, when we'd finished in Razorfen, we hearthed to get out of there, and when we landed back in Orgrimmar, we were 1 minute away from world buff drops, so we decided to wait the minute, get our world buffs, and while we were sat there we thought, you know what, we've already got 2 big ticket drops from Tyr's Hand, which is where I normally like to go, as well as anyone who's been watching this series knows. And I thought maybe I'd be better off mixing it up and trying a different farm, because if I just get repeats of the same items from the same farm, and they're already up on the auction house, I'm just going to end up overstocking and not getting any sales. And Tyr's Hand is also quite a long way away from Orgrimmar realistically. I mean, there's definitely worse places to go, but it does waste a lot of your world buff. So I thought I'd try out a gold farm that I'd seen that was a little bit closer to home. And that is in Ajara. Now, I loved this in phase 1 when I was first getting to a relatively high level, because it was a pretty easy farm to do, and golden pearls that you're after had a really high sale rate. Now, unfortunately, when I tried this out this time around, this farm absolutely sucked. So I aimed to do an hour at this farm, and in truth, I left after 40 minutes because it was so bad it just wasn't worth staying with. It was overly contested. I saw about 8 different other people that were there that were max level just to kill these Nagas in the 40 minutes that I was there. And because of this, I was averaging getting about 1 of the clams per minute while I was there, which is about the only thing of value that there really is in this farm, is getting the golden pearls. Unfortunately, the golden pearls currently sell for 12 gold on my realm, and they're only a 1% drop chance from the clams, meaning realistically I'd have to do 100 minutes of this to get 1 pearl, which would give me a value of 12 gold. Now, when you look on the left at my farm log, you will see that there is apparently small pieces of value here and there that make this farm not look that bad, but in truth, this is mainly a lie. Now, the farm log there I use mostly for a track of how much of something I've got in a time frame as opposed to the actual values, and a lot of the value is actually inflated from the green item that I got, which was from a treasure chest, which is unreliable for doing this farm in the future, as well as just overinflated values on white items. This farm is absolutely terrible and not one that I will be going back to anytime soon. Although if the price of the pearls is higher on your realm, or maybe it's a little bit less contested, or if you're a low level and wanting to get some gold in before you hit max level, if you're around that 55 mark, then perhaps this is a better farm for you. Now, after the disappointment of our golden pearl farm, I actually got myself world buffs again by complete coincidence, which is rather nice, I'll be honest. And it led to the same progression of logic that I had that led me to the golden pearl farm. Now, unfortunately, I didn't know of another good farm to try out that was really close by to Orgrimmar in terms of not losing any of the buff or travel time. However, I was really tempted to try out a farm in Deadwind Pass, because it both has a big ticket item in the form of a recipe for enchanters to do +9 strength on bracers, that when I looked it up had a value of between 150 and 200 gold on my realm, which would be absolutely fantastic. But it also had a lot of consistent gold, be it through just the raw silver that drops, or from the rune cloth and the potions that you get in large quantities at this farm as well. So I thought I'd give it a try, most notably because when I'd found out about this farm, everyone was saying how great it was for melee classes, because the mobs are close together, but not so close that they're easily AoE farmed, so people who are playing mages don't really want to do this farm generally. And it also means that I'm not going to have to find multiple targeted sponsors melee, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, when I got to this farm, I actually stayed for about an hour and a half when I intended on doing an hour, because it was proving to be reasonably lucrative, despite the fact that my luck was very much out. I went 40 minutes without so much as a green item. And yeah, I still made a decent amount of gold. It was a very easy farm, and it was really enjoyable. So this is one that you're probably going to be seeing again in future episodes, at least until I get one of those recipes. Now, once again, the drop chance of the big ticket item is about 1%, but it does only drop from the warlocks, which when I was doing a complete lap, I was only getting about 5 warlocks a lap, because they only really exist inside of the big cave at the southern end of Deadwind Pass. But nevertheless, if I was there, I worked out with my kill rate, that would mean that in principle, if my luck was average, I would get a drop of the big ticket item every 3 hours. I did about an hour and a half, so I'm feeling that if I do this again, I may get fortunate and get one in. I know that's not how luck and RNG works, but it's what you like to tell yourself to keep yourself going during these gold farms. Nevertheless, I did earn about 50 gold an hour, maybe 60 gold, in accurate amounts of gold per hour, not what you see on screen here that is definitely inflated, which I personally think was pretty fantastic as far as a steady gold farm goes that has the potential for a big ticket drop, as well as also just being a little bit better if I were capable of getting a few more green items. So this is one I'm definitely going to be looking forward to doing again in the future. Okay, so you join me now on my bank character, where you can see up on our Titan panel at the top that we've made it to the 2000 gold on the account threshold, which is a really nice little milestone to hit. And we're going to do what we normally do, take a quick look at what we've got in our bags. That hasn't been able to be posted on the auction house because the prices are too cheap, or because I already have too many on there. There's quite a lot of crafted gear currently in my bag, which is about the only thing of note really. And that's simply because of how much of it I have. I actually do have an awful lot of it on the auction house already, as we'll see in a moment. But let's take a quick look at our sales for the last 3 days. So, change this simply to auction, and our last 3 days. Let's have a quick look. So we've sold some more ores, more small radiant shards, although the price has started to dip, which has got me slightly concerned. I'm not sure about how much it's worth my effort now to go and get them, but because of how well they sell, I think it is still a viable farm, and I'm going to keep myself stocked up. I might just have to change my settings to sell them when the price is higher, but of course that's going to cost me in terms of the frequency of the sales. So it's nice. It's about trying to find a nice balance with that one, I think. We've got a lot more cloth and potions that we pretty much just pick up as and when we're doing any of the farms. We've got our shadow oil, which we've been crafting from doing the Scarlet Monastery farm, getting our Fade Leaf and our Grave Moss. Sold some shadow weave for exceptional money. Like, if you look at that, all 3 of them were bought by the same guy, as you can see, at the same time. And you know, that's 50 gold. That's fantastic. And I think in total it's probably about 5 gold, maybe 10 gold at the most in terms of crafting cost. So that is a very big profit margin. Got some small radiant shards again, a Dreamweave circlet, another one of our crafted pieces, a Magister's belt. I did a high level dungeon. I can't even remember. Oh, a Scholarman's. I did a Scholarman's run and got a Magister's belt dropped. Some more Dreamweave, lesser invis pots. As you can see, it's mostly stuff that we've crafted, but we have got our small radiant shards and the odd green here and there that we've been able to get from farming. We haven't yet, unfortunately, sold our big ticket items, but as you can see, 510 items sold for a total of 553 gold is not bad in the last 3 days since our last episode. And finally, if we look up on the auction house, we've had a sale, Illusion Dust, fantastic. And this is what we've got up currently. Again, another 582 gold of value. You've got some more crafted stuff with our Black Mage Weave set. Skullland Shield that we picked up in a treasure chest when we were getting our small radiant shards, which is quite a nice pickup. Our Librum of Veracity that we got at Tier's Hand still to sell. Quite a few more crafted greens. A green that we got dropped for us when we were in Scarlet Monastery. Anything that's got a nice suffix in terms of greens, I do try and sell. Although I am willing to vendor and disenchant them if they are up for a long time. But generally things that are of healing generally do quite well. Or really high level stuff, I do sell a lot of necklaces. But this is a low level one. I don't know why I've done that. But I don't know, it's up there now. Always worth a go. Our enchant chest Mage and Mana hasn't yet sold, but again we've got it up on the auction house. This is why we want to get these big ticket items nice and early so we can get them up and hopefully they'll sell before TBC release. Shadow Weave, Crimson Silk, Ivy Orb of Healing again. Another BOE blue that we had dropped. This one was in SM, I think again from a chest I do believe. Scrolling down you can see it's a lot of garbage with some more Shadow Weave thrown in there, and our Twilight Cultist pieces as well that are still looking to sell, as well as our 6 of Portals we got really early on in this challenge. So not much luck yet with the big ticket items, but we have generally been quite fortunate in regards to our sales of more consistent smaller items, so not too many complaints here. But that's going to about do it for today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please do let me know down below. Consider liking the video and consider subscribing to the channel so you are made up to date when our next episode comes out. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Later.